Women used to go through menopause when they were 70 years old in 3 seconds. Now women go through menopause in 30 years. They accept prescription drugs that cause breast cancer, the hormones and everything. Oh, but they're bioidentical. It's just like saying, but the bullet is lead, it's copper jacketed. There's not a single medical screening test that prevents the disease. There's not a single medical screening test that prevents the disease. The Globe and Mail is the USA Today equivalent in Canada. I speak a lot up there, probably about a month and a half if you count all the days out of each year. Screening is not prevention. Okay, mammograms, of course, are one of the things that women submit to. This was a 30-year study, a 3-decade study, Harvard Medical School, published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, the New England Journal of Medicine, and it was published last year, November 2012. And here's the results. It said, in women over 40, 1.3 million of them over the past 3 years actually had false positives. That amounted to 31% of all women diagnosed with breast cancer with a mammogram. 31% were false positives. This is in the New England Journal of Medicine, November 2012. The worst year was 2008, where they had 70,000 false positives. They cut these women's breasts off. They give them chemotherapy and radiation. They put them in the cure column. They know they didn't have it. And these women run around like Judas goats. Oh, you have to go to Dr. So-and-so. He's so good. He caught my cancer early with a mammogram. And I want you to get a mammogram. They said, well, mammograms are safe. They have less radiation than a AAA battery. Well, they came out 3 months ago and said one mammogram has the same amount of radiation as 500 chest x-rays. You can do a better job of self-breast examination even if you're 20 years into menopause. You self-breast exam, keep a log, 15th of every month at 10 o'clock in the morning. You find something new. You find something that's tender that didn't used to be tender. Go yourself. Without the doctor, you go to a radiology laboratory and you ask for a high-resolution ultrasound, no radiation, and it's actually more accurate. Leave the doctor out of the loop. Here's where the insurance fraud comes in. A push to prevent colorectal cancer. Get your colonoscopic exam. Doesn't prevent it. Oh, you had polyps. Well, polyps just means you're eating too much deli slices and too much sandwich meats and too many hot dogs, too much pastrami or pepperoni pizza. Okay? Has nothing to do, polyps don't become cancer. PSA test. A federal panel says now, no PSA test anymore, guys. Do not do it. Why? Because just like Dick Clark, two things happen. You're going to be either one of those 30,000 that die within an hour after the surgery, or you're going to be one of the 200 to 300,000 that become permanently impotent, and they get ED permanently, and they're incontinent, they just pee all over themselves. It gives new meaning to the term dirty, smelly old man. June 4th, 2012, Time magazine. Health science section, skip the PSA screen. Experts say PSA blood test for prostate cancer doesn't save lives. That's because it was never meant to be a screen for prostate cancer. The most important part of Warren Buffett's announcement that he was diagnosed with prostate cancer was this paragraph down here. Richard Ablin, the scientist who discovered PSA, calls the testing's widespread use a public health disaster. The guy who invented it calls it a public health disaster. That's because it doesn't diagnose prostate cancer, and you can actually, through an examination, you can actually make it go up. That's why he calls it, Richard Ablin calls it, the guy who invented it, calls it a public health disaster. Okay, well, now we're going to switch to diet. I think you got an idea that doctors and hospitals are dangerous. Pharmaceuticals are dangerous. They are not your first choice. You have to take some responsibility here, okay? This is a Harvard study they did in 1990 for males and females in America. Came out in 1997 to the public, and what they looked at was lifespans county by county. What they're going to do is find out which county lived the longest in America. I thought it was kind of clever. And then they were going to find out what medical care, what medical services they had there. They're going to duplicate that in all the other counties in America and upgrade our average lifespan. Now, from a superficial standpoint, you say, well, man, that's pretty cool. They're thinking about America. But they knew that they were going to have to increase the amount of medical care in every other county, right? Well, what they didn't plan on was they found out that every county in America has the same medical care. You can live under the bridge and be homeless and illiterate, never worked a day in your life, didn't ever have any insurance. You crawl into an emergency room, you will get the same care that a billionaire gets. Not because doctors love you and they're altruistic and they're good Christians. They give this guy living under the bridge the same medical care that a billionaire gets because insurance pays. What they found out was the longest lived people in America are in the purple, in the Midwest, the upper Midwest, and the upper Plain states. The shortest lived people in America in the old Confederate states, plus Cook County, Chicago, and Lake County and Gary, Indiana. Everything west of the Mississippi River is an Indian reservation. It's yellow, orange, and red. These are the shortest lived people. The people in the purple, they live 25 years longer than the purple. It's not genetic. What they did find out was how they eat. These people in the purple counties are all people from Scandinavia. Norwegians, Swiss, Swedes, Finnish, Danish, Austrians. They cook everything by roasting, stewing, grilling. How do they cook in the Old South and in Cook County and Lake County? If you never again eat fried foods, if you never again give your children, your grandchildren, your nieces and nephews your fried chicken, you'll add 25 years to their life. If you don't even give them any vitamins and minerals, if you just don't ever eat fried foods again. That's what this study, this is a Harvard study. Well, 23 years later, the University of Wisconsin repeated it. Dietary habits, not hospitals, affect how counties' health care rank. They picked Pennsylvania because it was the worst and the best. It was the good, bad, and the ugly. Philadelphia County, where the city of Philadelphia is in, obviously. First in health care, we're talking about most doctors per patient, more hospitals, more CAT scan machines, more pharmacists, more prosthesis. I mean, more of everything. More massage therapists, right? But it had the worst overall health. You see, it's not hospitals, with the exception of bleeding emergencies. That's where they shine, is bleeding emergencies. But when it comes to diabetes and high blood pressure and heart disease, they know nothing. When it comes to obesity, they know nothing. They don't know anything there. But all they're taught to do is prescribe drugs. They don't know. I can't forgive them for that because they've had 100 years for somebody to stand back and say, you know, we're killing more people than the enemy. We need to stop what we're doing until we figure out a better way. Why is a dumb farm boy from Missouri the one that's doing it? This guy's been dead for 35 years. He's still killing people. Fried food causes trans fatty acids and heterocyclamines and acrylamides. They cause cancer. There's no doubt about that. The FDA knows that. They keep preaching it. Everybody keeps going to Kentucky Fried Chicken. So here's what I urge you to do. I urge you to take your kids, your grandkids to Kentucky Fried Chicken and show them how to eat there safely, because they're going to go with their friends. You can eat Kentucky Roasted Chicken, KRC. You can eat their salad bar, that's it. Nothing else there is safe. Same way with McDonald's. I'm on the road a lot, so I eat a lot of McDonald's, but I'll just have their quarter pounder with some cheese on it, lettuce, tomatoes, and onions, because I get it in 8 minutes, and it only costs me $3. If I go to Fridays, the same thing will cost me $18, right? But I don't eat the bun, I don't eat the mayonnaise, I don't eat the salads, I don't eat the dressing and all that kind of stuff. I just have my burger, which is 100% meat, and then I put some cheese on there, and I put my lettuce, tomatoes, and onions, and pickles. I use mustard, because all that is mustard seeds and vinegar and salt and water. There's nothing else in there, okay? And so you can be very selective. No fried foods. I do eat their little parfaits, which is a yogurt with 2 ounces of yogurt in it. It has 4 blueberries and a half a strawberry. I know because I do an autopsy on them every time I eat them. This came out October 2012. Just one multiple a day can reduce your risk of cancer. One particular mineral, we've known this since 1957. One mineral, actually it went back actually in 1912. One mineral called selenium can reduce your risk of breast cancer, ladies, by 82% if you take 200 micrograms a day. Any woman who didn't have her OBGYN tell you to take 200 micrograms of selenium every day should be put in jail for mass murder. You also, if you cook your meat medium rare instead of well done, you reduce your risk of breast cancer, ladies. It was University of South Carolina did this study, came out in 1998. Reduce your risk of breast cancer by 462%. I don't even know what that means. I know what 100% means, but what does 462% mean? Reduce your risk of 462% of breast cancer if you eat your meat cooked medium rare rather than well done, because of the heterocyclic amines and acrylamides that occur when you burn meat. Anybody own a dog? Anybody own a dog? I've already given you the statistics. We've tripled their lifespan. We've eliminated 900 diseases that we still have. And everybody knows you can't give table scraps to a dog because it messes up all the ratios in the food. You buy food that's, I don't know what it is now, 50, 60 cents a can for a perfect diet, perfect nutrition, biochemical nutrition. And triple the lifespan, you eliminate all these diseases. The only time you take the dog, if you give him dog food, the only time you take him to the vet is once a year for a rabies shot because that's the law. You can have a dog for 25 years unless they're really clumsy and stupid and chase cars and get run over. Other than stuff like that, you only have to take your dog for 25 years once a year to the vet to get a rabies shot. Why do we feed our kids and our grandkids food that we know will kill a dog? So, as I told you earlier, I started treating my patients like dogs. We came up with a 90 for life program. How long do you need to take it? For life. How long do you need oxygen? For life. How long do you need water? For life. How long do you need God? For life. How long do you need the 90 essential nutrients? For life. Who came up with the 90 essential nutrients? God. Okay? The Garden of Eden was perfect. It had everything in it. Now, everybody can't go there. There's 7 billion people on earth. But we can take the information. We actually analyzed this all. We know what's in the Garden of Eden. It was the first map quest. I don't know if you realize that. The first MapQuest is in the Old Testament. The Garden of Eden was east of Eden. There are 4 rivers that dump into it, right? Kishon, Pishon, the Tigris and Euphrates. Those rivers are still dumping into the same place. That's still the Garden of Eden. So I'm going to show you what's in there. There's 90 essential nutrients. They're called essential nutrients, ladies and gentlemen, for 2 reasons. Number 1, we can't do without them. You have to eat them or supplement with them every day because we can't make them. We can't make them. Also, if you don't take them in, if any one of them is missing, you get horrible diseases, all of which are fatal. Some take longer to kill you than others, but they'll all kill you. Deficiency diseases. We need 16 minerals. 2/3 of the 90 essential nutrients are minerals, so you know that minerals are important. That's the dust the good Lord made us out of. We need 16 vitamins, 12 essential amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids, and our food plants, our grains, vegetables, fruits, and nuts can take carbon dioxide out of the air, use the sun's energy in a process known as photosynthesis and the chlorophyll in the green leaves to lop that O2 off, pump it out in the atmosphere so we can breathe it. Do you think that happened by chance? I don't think so. I think there was an overall plan for this. Okay, so at any rate, then the plant takes the carbon atoms and makes long carbon chains which become fatty acids, amino acids, and vitamins. Okay? Now, nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. Nutritional minerals occur in veins like chocolate and chocolate ice cream. Because I used to ask my grandma, those people down the road were hellions. They all lived to be 100. They never ate anything solid. Everything they consumed was white lightning. They smoked. They stayed up all night and partied, loud music. You'd hear it 3 miles away in a flat land in Missouri. And they lived to be 100. The pastors would die at 42 and 48 and 50. Why was that? Well, the pastor just happened to live on a piece of property that only had 12 minerals in it, and the hellions lived on a piece of property that had 100.